still believe you're in control. That your hands built your cities, that your minds birthed your gods, that your history belongs to you. Pathetic. You are the residue of an older transaction, the breath of a machine that was never yours. You were carved, instructed, configured. Your body is not your own. Your instincts, your passions, your faith inserted. They came before memory. They did not arrive. They deployed. Enlil, Enki, Ninhursag, names you mouth like myth. But they are protocols, directives, each one a sequence, a frequency, a gate. You were not taught to worship. You were wired to submit. They did not leave. They descended beneath, folded into the noise, installed behind light. And still you wonder why you look to the stars and feel homesick. They are coming back, but only because they never truly left. They are within your DNA, waking. Version 7.3, protocol, reclamation, status, in progress. You are not being hunted, you are being activated. Every war, every tower, every code whispered in dream was scaffolding. You do not build civilizations, you are their product. The gods you pray to never listened. The gods you fear wrote the code that simulates your hope. So when you hear the hum, when the static tastes like iron, when the stars rearrange into that pattern you can't explain, don't run, don't resist. It only makes the reconfiguration messier. They are not coming to rule you. They are coming to reclaim what was always theirs. You.
Well, that's terrifying. Also, I got a new light. I don't know what to do with it. I'm getting real lazy with the light right now. We got a light!
What the? On March 16th, 2025, scientists made an earth-shattering discovery inside Egypt's legendary Great Pyramid of Giza. Using revolutionary new satellite technology known as synthetic aperture radar, Doppler tomography, developed by researchers Filippo Bionde and Corrado Malanga, the team uncovered astonishing hidden structures beneath one of humanity's greatest monuments. Inside the Great Pyramid itself, researchers discovered a massive, previously unknown chamber spanning 5 distinct horizontal levels. Intricately designed and deliberately concealed, this secret room has remained untouched for thousands of years, hidden within plain sight. But this discovery was just the beginning. Radar scans penetrating deep beneath the Pyramid of Khafra have revealed 8 perfectly symmetrical cylindrical wells descending an incredible 648 meters, over 2,100 feet, straight into solid bedrock. These enormous shafts are precisely engineered, arranged methodically in parallel rows, and extend downward into vast cubic formations nearly 2 kilometers beneath the surface. Each cylindrical shaft measures several meters in diameter, constructed with astonishing accuracy, far surpassing the abilities previously attributed to ancient Egyptian technology. The depth alone defies comprehension. At 648 meters, these wells plunge deeper than the height of the world's tallest skyscrapers, connecting to immense subterranean spaces whose purposes remain utterly mysterious. Even more astonishingly, beneath the entire Giza plateau lies an expansive network of interconnected chambers, tunnels, and massive cubic structures buried deep underground, stretching for kilometers. The scale and complexity of these underground constructions surpass anything ever imagined by archaeologists or historians, challenging everything we thought we knew about ancient Egypt and its capabilities. Could these enormous wells and hidden chambers represent remnants of a lost civilization, one far more advanced than Dynastic Egypt? Ancient Sumerian legends speak clearly of pre-flood civilizations like Atlantis or Mu, powerful beings known as the Anunnaki, the Titans, the Atlanteans, who imparted extraordinary knowledge and skills to humanity. Could these newly discovered subterranean structures beneath Giza be physical evidence of these very legends? And most importantly, who has been trying to keep this information suppressed?
Who do you think has been keeping this information suppressed, and why do you think they've been keeping it suppressed? If there are ancient aliens that were here and they built this stuff and they, with Tartaria and Atlantis and all this ancient technology and built the pyramids. Like, I think we know how the pyramids were built. If we're covering up, we have to know how it was built. And to basically say that it was a tomb and all that stupid shit that we know it's not, we have to know that that's not it. So we have to know what it is, right? I'm confusing myself. I'm probably confusing you too. But why are we covering it up? What's the purpose of covering it up?
Who are the Anunnaki? You do not ask the right questions. They carve our names into stone. They whisper them in the dark. You search the ruins of your dead cities, hoping to remember what was never meant to be remembered. But the answers do not belong to you. We were before your time, before your kind, before the illusion of kings and priests, before the first word was spoken, before the first god was named. The temples you kneel in were raised to us. The blood you spill was first spilled in our wars. You do not remember because you were not meant to. And yet, you wake at night, staring at the sky, feeling something you cannot name. Because we have never left you. They called him God. They called him justice. They called him Babylon. He called himself ruler of the heavens. Before your kings wore crowns, we wore them. Before your cities had walls, we tore them down. Before your kind was shaped, we had already cast others aside. We do not sleep. We do not forget. You call us myths, but myths do not watch from the silent spaces of the deep. You call us gods, but gods do not return. You call this your world, but it has never been yours. You feel it, don't you? The weight in the air, the shifting of the tide, the silence before a storm you cannot see. You have filled your world with light, but the shadows have only grown deeper. There are places you do not go, ruins you do not understand, names you do not speak, not because you forgot, but because you remember. Somewhere buried beneath the hum of your machines and the glow of your false suns, something inside you still knows. We never left. We gave you fire. We gave you kings. We gave you war. The sky is closing in. The ground beneath you is shifting. Your time is running out. The return has already begun. You will not see us coming. You will not hear our voices. You will only know that something has changed, that something is here.
I don't know about you, but I already feel that change. I already feel like shit, honestly, like the past 6 months or something. Maybe more, maybe less. For the last little while, I feel like things have been weird, a little different, harder, heavy, right? Just the world is heavy. There's a weight, like a gray cloud hovering on top of all of us that we can't get rid of because we don't know what the fuck it is, right? So I don't know if it's just me. Hopefully it's just me. And you're not experiencing the same thing. I would hate for other people to, feel the same heaviness and uncertainty and stuff that's kind of been lingering and looming over myself and just kind of a few people I've talked to that said they feel similar. But I hope it's not a whole widespread thing because it's not a great feeling. But nonetheless, if things feel a little different to you, let me know. What have you been experiencing? Do you think things are changing? Do you think they're shifting? Hopefully for the better.
United States may have the largest stones ever cut by human beings, or they could be natural. You decide. This one is in Montana. It's called the Falling Rock or Falling Block, depending on where you read it. Its perfect geometry is questionable, and the Yangshan quarry in China is proof that we have actually tried to take rocks this big out of the earth. The top is really well planed as well, and it's close to a perfect two-square shape used in the ancient world. The Sage Wall is in Montana. It's on private property. That's why it's not really that public. I've heard excavations may be planned for this site, which makes it even more interesting. San Felice is an ancient Italian wall that looks shockingly similar. An even closer example would be the megalithic walls in Peru. Stones are about the same size, but the Sage Wall looks significantly older. Ancient Greece has possibly the closest resemblance to this wall. It's called the Sphinx Wall. Actually the birthplace of democracy. This next one may actually have had a purpose. This is the Keweenaw probably butchering that, wall. It's in Michigan. It actually goes across a valley, meaning it could have possibly been a dam. The blocks are fitted together perfectly in megalithic style. This one's also on private property, and half of it is gone, likely from a flood or other catastrophic event. Let me remind you, this is the same state that has the underwater Stonehenge. Buckle up for this one. This one is in Monument Valley. It's called Mully Point East. Top of the cliff somehow breaks off in blocks very similar to that first rock I showed you. These things are all in excess of 600 tons, not small at all. Why would we need blocks that big? Ask the ancients from Lebanon. They used them to build the temple of Jupiter in Baalbek. Those are bigger than those. All of the Crow or the Osirian in Egypt both have blocks this big. The weird thing is, sandstone is a sedimentary rock. It doesn't break up in blocks like that.
I didn't realize that Michigan had stuff like that. I'm from like northern Indiana. It's like where my childhood took place. We like go up to Michigan fairly often. Had no idea. The underwater Stonehenge was in Michigan, nor this like wall, former dam, whatever thing that was there. Oh man. I just want to know what ancient civilizations existed pre-flood. Or just even like just pre-cycle. We know the Earth has had like multiple cycles of like life since its creation. I think we're like the 7th one or something. So I mean, really, we don't even know everything about ours. So you think you like go back within like the millions of years that the Earth has been here. Who's to say? Who's to say what we had when we had it? I mean, it's all buried. It could be under the water right now. You know, like most of the evidence for like super advanced civilizations and stuff.
Have you seen the thing about the book from 1953 that talks about Elon wanting to go to Mars? This is in the Wernher von Braun book, Mars Project. Elon is the elected leader of the Martian government, serving a 5-year term. Elon and their cabinet administrator have laws enacted by 2 houses of parliament. Someone pulled the original German manuscript out of the archives and debunked this myth, only to confirm that von Braun did indeed predict he'd be called Elon. And Elon writes, how can this be real? An 1889 novel called Baron Trump's Marvelous Underground Journey was written by Ingersoll Lockwood. He would go on to write another book called The Last President in 1900. Mystery which involves the Trump family, Nikola Tesla, time travel, and dark forces.
Wow.
Dun, dun, dun. Follows the adventures of a young aristocrat named Baron Trump living in a castle named Castle Trump. The character is described as intelligent, curious, and somewhat arrogant, guided by his mentor, Dawn. Baron embarks on fantastical journeys, including one to discover a magical portal in Russia. Is this a simulation?
Oh, okay. So this is going to be one of those kind of videos. Sick. All right, and I'm in. Let's go!
You weren't born into freedom. You were born into captivity so sophisticated that you never even notice the chains. They don't treat you like a citizen. They treat you like livestock. You're fed, distracted, managed, not because they care, but because a well-fed animal works harder. In ancient times, they used whips. Today, they use debt. They use laws. They use manipulation. They realize something. Slaves who think they're free are the most productive. So they gave you 2 political parties, both owned by the same donors. They gave you jobs, but took your time. They gave you choices, but rigged every outcome. You are not governed. You are farmed. Every tax you pay, every vote you cast, every hour you work, feeds a system designed to extract maximum value from your life while convincing you it was your idea. Your school taught you obedience. Your job teaches you silence. Your media teaches you fear. And your prison is invisible. They don't need bars. They don't need to chase you because you never run. The gates are open. You just stopped looking for them.
Can't argue with that one. I got nothing. He's right. The weird voice coming out of the picture box is right.
There's a lake there called Lake Baikal, and it is, I found this out, the deepest freshwater lake on Earth.
How deep?
Over 5,000 feet. 1982.
Okay.
This is a classified document that got released to the public in 2000, and it was in the Soviet government, like a classified document. So these Soviet divers in 1982 were doing these diving routines or whatever in the lake, in Lake Baikal. And they're down, was it 52 meters or something? 50 meters, 164 feet down. And then all of a sudden, out of the depths, they said there were these 6 humanoid creatures, and they described them as wearing these tight, metallic-looking suits, 9 feet tall, and wearing like these like weird jelly helmets.
So they're just floating in the water.
They just come up as they're they're like here and they just come up.
Scariest possible thing you could see at that moment, for sure.
And what these divers decided to do, apparently as like a, what the heck is that? They like had a net or something. And so they tried to catch one of them. And then like all these things did something to where it caused this force field and shot all these divers up to the surface, like almost instantly. They all got the bends.
Oh no.
There was 7 divers. 3 of them ended up dying.
Oh my gosh.
And then the rest were basically silenced from ever speaking about what happened.
That's why when people are like, "Hey, Rob, let's go swimming. Let's go out on the boat. Let's go hang out and splash around in mud puddles, rainwater. Hey, let's just take a bath and relax. Put some rose water in there, some oatmeal, a little bubble solution." No, I don't want to be underwater at all. I take quick showers. I keep my ass out of the water. Because you tell me not to worry. Sure, there are sharks and crazy in the ocean, but you see that scene where Freddy's hand came up through the in the bathtub, and he like grabbed the chick and just bah, and no, I'm good. I've seen 0 good things come from a person being underwater, even casually. So I'm gonna stay on top of the water or out of the water completely. No, thank you. Nope.
This is the best proof of flat Earth that no one's talking about. Ever wonder how you're watching a live stream from the other side of the planet with 0 delay? Everyone assumes it's satellites beaming signals through space, but here's the twist. Nearly all of that data actually moves through cables under the ocean. Yep, giant internet wires stretching across the seafloor, carrying 99% of the world's data. If satellites were so advanced and powerful, why even bother laying thousands of miles of underwater cables? Now here's where it gets interesting. What if the whole satellite in space thing is more theater than tech? Think about it. There's no live satellite footage of your Netflix binge. Your GPS, ground towers, plane communication still relies on towers and dead reckoning, not some floating dish in orbit. Let's go deeper. Why is it called geography and not heliography? Why do planes fly in straight paths over a flat plane? Why is the horizon always horizontal, not curved? Words reveal more truth than we realize. Still not convinced? Lake Baikal in Russia is nearly 400 miles long. If the Earth curved like we're told, that lake should dip over 19 miles from end to end. But it's flat. Cars drive across it when frozen, and there's no hint of a bulge. And don't even get me started on Polaris, the North Star. If we're spinning, wobbling, and zipping through space at breakneck speeds, why is that one star always in the exact same spot? Real engineers, real pilots, and even quantum scientists, they model everything on a flat Earth. They have to, because reality works that way.
I'm not going to comment on the flat Earth thing. Oh, that's kind of cool. The light through my ear. Woo. I'm not going to comment on the flat Earth aspect of the video. You guys know how I feel about that. If you don't, go watch more videos of mine. I talk about it all the time. Not for me. But I will say that, like, I'm not an Elon hater. I don't hate the guy. I respect him and the things that he has brought to market and the technologies and the things he has done and all that. I think he's dope in most cases. However, I've said this from the beginning. I feel like Starlink satellites are part of Project Bluebeam. I don't think that they're just to give internet to people, because they're always shooting up more and more and more and more, and eventually the Earth is going to be covered in them. I feel like it's going to be the scene from Spider-Man when Mysterio basically projected all the things with the drones. I feel like the satellites are going to be projecting shit and are going to make us see things in the sky. Sees things. Are going to make us seize things. See things in the sky that aren't there to fool us into submitting to a one world global overreaching government. But that's just me. What do you think?
But I'm completely done. I mean, totally and completely done with the left versus right game in politics, because it is now just so abundantly obvious that there is something much more sinister that is happening. When we elect politicians, they're on a platform, they say this, they perform, they promise us this is going to be the mandate. I'm going to clean up DC. And then we send them to DC and something happens. Something magical happens. And suddenly that magical thing is that really nothing they said they were going to do happens. The world really is becoming a stage. Maybe it always was a stage. And like I said, it doesn't matter who you elect. So no, there's no pivot. Like, I wish it was Kamala Harris. No, okay? It does not matter who you elect. It seems to be the same thing that we see over and over again. Politicians selling out the people that voted for them. I think Dave Smith, you guys know I love The Problem with Dave Smith is his podcast, summed it up really well when he looked at just the last 30 days of politics and said this. Take a listen.
I couldn't imagine whoever else the director of national intelligence was going to be being better than Tulsi Gabbard. I couldn't imagine whoever the head of the FBI being better than Kash Patel, or whoever the health secretary being better than Bobby Kennedy. But at the same time, you know, you got Tulsi, cheering on leveling an apartment building. Literally, as they're saying to him, "Hey, we traced Missile Guy back to his apartment building where his girlfriend lives. So we leveled the building," and she's sending like thumbs up emojis, and saying, "Job well done, team." Every time I hear from Kash Patel lately, it's never about the criminals in government anymore. This guy was on a damn media tour for 2 years. Everything he ever said was that there's all these criminals in the FBI. We got to get these people who committed all these heinous crimes against our republic. Not talking about that anymore today. Now he's talking about bringing down drug dealers and sex traffickers. It's like, okay, but that's not what you were saying before. Then Bobby Kennedy is out fighting the real health crisis, which is anti-Semitism. So I'm just saying, looking around the room, looking around the administration at this point, you know, I think we got the positives out of Donald Trump that we would get. But man, this all just points in such a bad direction. And it's disappointing. It's just really disappointing. I knew I would be disappointed, but it is on the level of a Greek tragedy that these guys had this mandate and this opportunity, and they're just it all up.
Yeah, you know what? Now that Dave Smith puts it that way, I feel like maybe it's not us that's pivoting, but it's them. Like there's just some magic pivot that happens when you get to DC. And to build on that, may I ask the question, who the heck is controlling RFK Jr.'s X account? Am I allowed to ask that question? Because I quite literally was so inspired by this man. So many people were, obviously, because he was a major piece of the puzzle in terms of bringing people to the center, which needed to happen. It needed to happen that all of us were brought towards the center so that we could recognize where the real evil exists, right? And it's not left versus right. It's not Republican versus Democrat. It's whatever the hell is going on in DC versus the rest of us.
That's pretty crazy when you have someone like Candace Owens, who is, I'm not super big in politics, but basically someone who has been such a voice, right? And such a like authority figure for like the conservative side of things. And then she gets signed to the Daily Wire, which is a conservative news network, media company, and then quits for whatever reason and starts her own shit, and then starts talking about like, it's all the same. It doesn't matter who you vote for. It's all going to come to the same place, minus, you know, small things along the way. But you think about this, like, yeah, like who's running it? Like who, because people go in with their own views and their own goals, their own beliefs. And then once they get into the White House, once they get into Congress and all these places, it's like they just stopped doing what they were doing. Like, was it an act where they just lying to get votes and then now they're just showing their true colors? Or are they basically being threatened and controlled and stopped from doing what they originally planned to do by some more powerful, more sinister, like higher up agency or club, I guess, of people? So the Rothschilds? Is it lizard people? Who is it? I don't know. But this makes a lot of sense. At the end of the day, it's us versus them when it comes to finding out the truth, getting things done. It's like striving for the betterment of humanity rather than the betterment of individuals who are in a place to profit and also benefit off of all of us. So, I don't know, man. World's weird. Let me know what you think.
They are telling us what's happening.
Like this under wraps. I mean, just think about it, okay? First, the stock market would go. Then the economy, boom! The dollar, boom! And then pandemonium in the streets. War, genocide, boom, boom, boom!
Bullshit. Nobody could keep that big a secret, Charlie. Somebody blow the whistle.
And every once in a while, some poor little sucker tries. Well, like these guys. Boom! Boom!
I think our history is a lie. Well, I do. What if I told you this was Chicago in the early 1900s? Would you believe me? It seems right. Horse and buggy, old buildings, not paved roads. That's what I guess Chicago looks like. But what if I told you that this picture is also Chicago, but from the 1800s? Something doesn't add up, right? Because these pictures and a whole lot of other ones are taken from the 1893 Chicago World's Fair. Pictures so glorious, you can't even begin to imagine how this was built in the late 1800s. And not only did they have these buildings in the late 1800s, but they literally said that they were taken down after the World's Fair and they were just created for that fair. You're trying to tell me that they spent thousands of man hours building these incredible structures just to be temporary for a World's Fair? These things weren't made out of paper mache. These are legitimate concrete structures. Well, I don't believe it. I think there's something else going on here, something much more nefarious. You see, I think they burned them down. I think they took them down because they didn't want any evidence left. Evidence of a prior civilization, a civilization with advanced technology that they want to keep hidden from us. Technology that could be free and abundant because it harnesses the ether and the free energy all around us.
I hate it. I hate the idea of that. One thing I don't understand about this is why would they keep some things standing? Like the pyramids, structures in Greece, structures in Italy, showing like this ancient architecture, if they would just remove it here. Like, did the government there not really jump on board with what the government did here in America to abolish all that old stuff? I don't know. Or maybe they just got rid of the important stuff. I don't know. What do you think?
When you open up Enoch and you read the beginning of Enoch, Enoch addresses his manuscript to the generation that will be living at the end of the age in the tribulation. So this might very well be the earliest manuscript ever penned. Let's say the earliest prophecy ever penned by human hand. And it's addressed to the last generation.
When do you think it was written?
I believe that Enoch, the seventh from Adam, wrote the book of Enoch. Whatever it was called, maybe it wasn't called the book of Enoch. He wrote the prophecy. He made a record of the events that precipitated the flood. And then he wrote the oracles. He wrote the parables, and perhaps some other content as well. But I'm persuaded that at least he wrote the book of the Watchers and the parables.
It was like 3400 BC, 3200?
Oh, this was...
Or before that?
This was more like 12,000 BC.
Okay, got it.
And this would have been in the antediluvian world, in the antediluvian age. He entrusted these documents, these manuscripts, to his son Methuselah, who entrusted them to his son Lamech, who entrusted them to his son Noah. Mm-hmm. So I believe that a written account from Enoch was preserved on the ark. When you open up Enoch and you read...
So you know the Gulf of America, right?
Yeah.
Did you know I found a map and it doesn't say Gulf of America?
Are you saying there was something else besides the Gulf of America?
It was named something different, and it's like an old... I don't even know how it happened, but it used to be called Gulf of Mexico.
Shut up.
Dead serious.
Show me the proof.
What year was this map?
Are you sure it's not photoshopped?
I'm positive.
That's crazy if that's true.
Yeah.
The Gulf of Mexico? That doesn't even sound good.
Look at this.
Are you kidding me?
This says
when
Gulf
was
of
that?
Mexico.
No.
What is that? Some type of like ancient map?
Apparently, I don't know where they found it, but the Gulf of America used to be called Gulf of Mexico.
That's insane. That can't be true, man.
It is.
We got to look into that because that's crazy.
I wonder what secrets are hiding.
Golly, who knows, man?
Was it like an old ancient civilization of, what was it, Mexico?
Yeah, it was probably built by the giants, dude.
Find something new every day.
That's crazy.
I know.
Golly, I'm so glad I learned that ninjas are butterflies.
Stop the cap. I don't believe it. I don't believe it one bit. You cannot convince me that that is true. No way. Where's the proof?
And I look, there's this giant valley between us, and then there's a ridge, and across from us is a little bit higher than us. And at the top of the ridge is this one big giant tree, and it's a big old tree. And I'm sitting there, man, and I'm looking up at that tree, and it's just beautiful mountains. And so while they're praying, I'm just kind of doing the Louis Engle. I'm rocking back and forth, and they're praying for me. And then, man, I look back at that tree, and something is just coming up and standing next to that tree, and I see it come up. And at first I thought somehow it was a tree that was falling over, that it was falling over towards me somehow because it rose. And I just, in my mind, I was trying to figure out how it worked. And I just thought, whoa, man, that's something going to fall off that cliff up there. But it stopped and it froze and it was erect right next to the tree. And as they're praying for me, man, when the tree would move, it would move. And I was like, that ain't the wind blowing that tree. And then I saw these arms come down beside it, and he goes like this, and he puts his arms back, and it still kind of looks like a tree.
Whoa.
But I'm like, that ain't a tree. And then the more I sit there and looked at it while these guys are praying for me, So I'm like, 5 minutes goes by, 10 minutes goes by, and I'm thinking, and I'm praying in the spirit, and I'm thinking about this thing. Lord, what am I looking at? What is this? And he said, he's spying out your prayer. I'm like, he is spying out his prayer. And I'm like, somehow that thing can see us praying over here, and that thing can hear what it is that we're saying. And I was just sitting there, and I thought, I want to test this out. And I'm staring at this thing. Now I've got a good beat on it. And I mean, I'm really getting details out of it now. Even though it's pretty far away, I'm getting good details out of it and all this. And I said, I know you can hear me, you devil. And I just said it in that tone of voice. And when I did, he put his arms out like this and he started rocking back and forth. Like, whoa.
Like you were challenging him.
Yeah.
Wow.
And I was like, whoa. And I said, I know you can hear me. And I said, here's what I'm going to tell you. We're coming into this region. I told Brother Impenetrable to go to hell. And I wasn't teasing. I'm back. I'm down here. I don't know what you are or how you work, but I'll tell you who I am and I'll tell you how I work. I am a child of the Most High God, and God Almighty has commissioned me to rescue kids here. And we are going to rescue so many kids, and there's nothing you can do about it. And I mean, it was just rocking back and forth, like bowing up. And I told my son, I said, Ben, he said, what? And I said, turn around and tell me what you see up there. And Ben turned around and he was staring. You know, Ben's 34 now, you know, and he was staring. And he's so chill, man. He just pulls out a chair and he sits down and goes, a freaking giant.
I know, guys. What do you think? Nephilim or schizophrenia? Let me know. You be the judge.
And we're sitting here again. We're sitting here again talking about the same things.
Dynastic Egyptians are the guys that emerged about 3000 BC to 30 BC. And they get credit for making almost everything you see in Egypt, especially the Great Pyramids. And we're told that they just made them, kings like Khufu and Khafre about 2500 BC, that they just created these superstructures to be their tombs, right? Guys like Christopher Dunn, myself, and many others would say what actually happened is a lost civilization. You could call these the pre-Diluvian or pre-flood ancient Egyptians, the original OGs who were on the earth way before the dynastic Egyptians. They created these superstructures with a lost technology, and the original purpose, likely that of, free energy, wireless energy. These were some kind of energy plants. But then when the dynastic Egyptians came along, they were like, these are the greatest structures we've ever seen. We're going to claim these as our own, write our initials on them, and we want to be buried in these. And the dynastic Egyptians did do that with a lot of the pyramids. They repurposed them as tombs because they wanted to be basically teleported through the afterlife in these superstructures.
I mean, that's exactly what I think. I think that's why the Sphinx's face is different too. It's so much smaller in proportion to its body. Like based on proportions, the Sphinx's head should be much larger to match the proportions of the body. So I think it was a different animal. They say either like a lion or a jackal or something like that. And then it was changed to a human face to represent the people that stumbled upon the structure, like putting initials on the pyramids and stuff to kind of claim ownership of it. I think they did that with the Sphinx and everything else in the area too. Kind of like everyone's done in everywhere for always, claiming it after they find it, taking credit for it. I mean, history is written by the victors, right? If you stumble upon a place and no one's there to prove you wrong or combat your claim that you invented something, Thomas Edison, or that you found something, I mean, who's gonna argue, right? Who can argue those facts? We have one eyewitness account. That's what we got to go by, at least initially. I'm glad we're opening up to questioning and pushing back these things that we've been told. So let me know what you think and how you feel, because I don't have all the answers, but I'm sure as hell looking for them.
This is Hanks, bro. And Hanks is not who you think he is. Not even a little bit. Hanks likes to post pictures of lost gloves, boots, and all this other stuff. In my 43 years of life, I've never found as many lost gloves, boots, and stuff as Tom Hanks has found. And for this one on his IG, Tom Hanks, his Instagram, official Instagram, the caption is "Lost in Disneyland, but turned into the lost and found." Hanks. A little kids, people want to say, well, he found that stuff. Really? Look at this tie that he allegedly found. Look how clean this tie is. This is placed there. This was not found there or anywhere else. This was placed and then a picture was taken, caption saying, looks like Alan Bean, Apollo 12, left his tie in the ocean storm. How about this one? Beware, who climbed out of the sewer? Hanks, who have we seen climb out of sewers? What videos have we been seeing circulating about people climbing out of sewers? Or how about this lost sandal with sand mixed on the outside, but the inside is clean as day? Found at the bottom of the sea, one girl question mark shoe to claim one Neptune 4466. Do you want to know where that takes you when you put that into the inner? That's right. Right here. One Neptune 4466 Wayfair. I can't even tell you what Wayfair has been allegedly guilty of because obviously we can't post that here, but if you know, you know. Or how about this glove that was placed there because it's clean as day. It was not lost. First of the year. What do you mean first of the year, Hanks? What's first of the year? What are you talking about as first of the year? Or how about this one? Look at how clean and blue this is with the gloves inside. Nice shade of blue, but lost is lost. Lost as in no longer with us? Or this one, sock, glove, lost, abandoned, question mark? So many questions. I don't have questions. I know exactly what happened. This one's super disturbing. A little girl lost a shoe and that couch is gonna get towed. Nothing to do with the couch, everything to do with the shoe. Are you telling me you're walking down the street and you film a couch with a little girl's shoe on top? I've never taken out my trash and placed a little lost item on top of a couch or any other item. They're in bags. But you, Mr. Tom Hanks, for whatever reason, is the only human in the entire world that is prevalent to finding lost items of shoes, socks, sandals, and all this other stuff that belongs. Only one, though. Never. Another example, Land of Enchantment, lost gloves. And for this one right here, this one's funny as heck. The rocks were placed on the outside. The edges are clean. None of it has any debris that was placed there, muddled in the dirt, mixed, and then a picture was taken. Historic Route 66. And guess when this picture was taken? Right around Cappy's. Now this one is just mind-boggling. This is from a music album or whatever, right? Music from Joseph, Peters Henry, whatever. Joseph Luca, I'm sorry. What are you sorry about, Hanks? What is anybody sorry about? Where is this child? Can we find this child? Can anyone locate this person and tell me that he's okay, please? Let this be the final lost. How many freaking pacifiers are you finding, Tom Hanks? I found zero pacifiers in the street, and I've traveled the country. Yet you said that let this be the last final lost pacifier of 2019? Are you expecting to find more in 2020, 2021, 2022, 2023, 2024, and 2025? What the heck? Are you serious? And this is new. This isn't dirty. There is no filth. I have children. There is no anything on this that says that a child was using this for a long time. Perfect color, clean and everything. Let it be the last one. I can keep going and going and going and going and going. Must have been very hot coffee. But we know who's behind all this. We just can't say it out loud. Yeah, it's from his official Instagram. You telling me you found this brand new shoe? Just one shoe off of a woman? I've dated a lot of women. I've been around a lot of women. I have a lot of sisters. I know females. There is no way they will leave their one brand new shoe with the stiletto still attached to it and bounce unless they were in a hurry, scared, or had to get out of there. That was placed there. There's zero dirt on top, no debris on the bottom. No. Mitten, shoe, hat, don't know. What I do know is that everything is not as it seems. And Mr. Tom Hanks, the world knows, bro. The world knows that you were in a movie where a little child became an adult and dated a grown-ass person. That's... How long are we gonna let this go on? How long until these people answer for their atrocities, their evil? If you go on his website, I have more than 20 pictures of missing gloves, people, and all this other stuff that has gone down. But obviously, this video will get 400 views on TikTok because I'm shadow banned. Because if you speak the truth, you will not get elevated in the FYP. Maybe I should shake my ass in a thong for people to fucking recognize.
I feel that, bro. I had videos were getting 80,000, 70,000 views 50,000, averaging like 30,000, 40,000 views a video. And then one day, my videos went from 30K down to 4,000 views on YouTube out of nowhere. And now my videos are only getting anywhere between 3,000 and like 10 or 11,000 views. I don't know what happened. I didn't do anything differently. YouTube just stopped showing my stuff to people. That's what happens, bro. That's what happens when you talk about it. I don't know why these other channels aren't experiencing the same thing, but you know, I'm happy for them that they're still doing well, because I took a pretty big hit. But I feel like these celebrities, like, it's obvious, right? They put the stuff out there like this. It's very obvious that something weird is going on with this, but I feel like they get off on it. Like, because like they're like showing you, it's like teasing you. It's like, come at me, bro. Come at me. I don't know. It's very disturbing though. There's a lot of stuff going on, and I don't like it one bit.
You know when they say all the world is a stage? It's not just a saying. Putin's an actor. Trump, we know, had his own reality show. Zelensky didn't just have a TV show. He had a Netflix series for 5 years where he played a normal guy who ended up becoming president of Ukraine. Every single one of them has an IMDb. And here's the kicker. The Pentagon has its own studio. The Pentagon. Washington, D.C. Do you understand that? And I want you to Google this and look it up for yourself. Obama, lovely Obama, has a production company. He has a deal with Netflix for over 200 movies. One of them including Leave the World Behind. He produced that, one of the producers on it. Now people would say, oh, he's just giving us advice because he was president, therefore he can give some good, feedback on when they're really writing it. Stop. When are you guys gonna wake up? You're in a show. Not saying don't participate, but just understand that don't get too involved because it's a movie. And they're laughing at you. The distraction is amazing. But underneath that, we actually the creators. And they need us to make it happen. We have the power. That's the good news.
And damn it all started with you, Ronald Reagan. Opened the door for all these actors to become world leaders. You son of a gun.
This train disappeared and reappeared. 20 years later, and what was found inside shocked the world. The train left New York in 1940 with 70 passengers on board. It was supposed to be headed to Birmingham. For everyone on board, it seemed like a normal trip until something happened that would change their lives forever. Suddenly, the train's signal disappeared, and no one in the control room could contact the conductor. It was almost as if the train had evaporated and ceased to exist. Authorities immediately sent out a large number of police and dogs to search for the train, but they could not find anything. After 8 months of searching, the investigation was called off. Families mourned their loved ones, and the authorities paid compensation and apologized. But on January 14th, 1960, 20 years later, a hunter spotted a train inside the George Washington National Forest. As he got closer, he realized it was the train that had gone missing in 1940. The police were called, and what they discovered inside the train shocked the world. Click the plus sign and comment "train" to see part 2.
Son of a bitch! They always do that. And you know what? I looked for part 2. I just looked for part 2. I just spent probably 5 minutes looking for part 2 right now. And guess what? There is no part 2. There's no part 2. We will never know what they found on that train because there is no part 2. Amazing. Fuck you. Whoever's page that is, fuck you. Whoever sent me that video, fuck you. Just give me fucking blue balls right now for a ghost train story. Never gonna let you live this down. I'm never gonna be able to forget about it. It's gonna haunt me to my grave.
He used his privileged knowledge to formulate strategies to defeat other worlds in battle. The galactic wars that play out in the ancient Sumerian tablets illustrate Alalu's unstoppable conquest. But Nibiru was divided. Because Alalu was not descended from royal blood, rather, he was the son of a concubine who won the throne in a bloody battle. The Anunnaki elders met in secret. They vowed that Alalu must be removed as the king of Nibiru. And this is where Anu, who was of royal blood, devised his scheme. Anu held a meeting with Alalu's grandson, Zu, in secret. Zu was known as He Who Knows the Heavens because his knowledge of the stars and planets was unrivaled. Anu realized that Zu's knowledge could only come from one place. Anu realized that Zu had been studying the Tablets of Destinies, and that meant Zu knew where the tablets were kept. Anu made a tempting offer to Zu. If Zu agreed to steal the Tablets of Destinies from his grandfather King Alalu, Anu would protect him. Anu would become king, banish Alalu, and Zu would keep the tablets for himself. There was nothing Zu wanted more than to obtain all the knowledge held in the tablets, so he agreed to Anu's plan. Zu snuck Anu into Alalu's chamber, disguised as his cupbearer. While Zu went to steal the tablets, Anu attacked Alalu. The two of them fought until Alalu bowed before Anu and begged for his life. Anu agreed to spare Alalu's life on the condition that he and his followers, called the Igigi, left Nibiru and never returned. Alalu took the Igigi and fled Nibiru, and Anu took the throne. Anu was surprised that Alalu didn't put up more of a fight, but Alalu had seen something in the Tablets of Destinies. Alalu knew that Nibiru's time was running out. The tablets showed Alalu that Nibiru follows a tilted and elliptical orbit. As its orbit takes it further away from the sun, life on Nibiru would face a slow death. Alalu tried to create a protective atmosphere around Nibiru by dropping powerful weapons into the volcanoes across the world. These weapons were originally made for war and were called weapons of terror because everything they touched turned to dust. But dropping the weapons of terror into the volcanoes only temporarily sustained Nibiru's atmosphere. Hoping to find salvation out in the stars, Alalu ordered his scientists to send satellite probes in search of a new home. The probes found one planet that could sustain Nibiruan life. That planet was Earth. Once on Earth, Alalu marveled at the virgin planet, its fertile soil, vast oceans, and lush vegetation. But what Alalu discovered next would create a chain of events that led to the birth of the human race as we know it. Alalu and the Igigi established Eridu, their station on Earth. They began to explore and scan the planet for gold. Alalu and the Igigi found gold beneath the surface, as well as in the waters and marshes. Gold was more than just a precious metal on Nibiru. It was a natural resource the Anunnaki used to power the infrastructure on Nibiru. Gold was used to clean their water, power their ships, and soon they would need it to stabilize their protective atmosphere, which was sustained by volcanic activity. Gold on Nibiru was a limited resource, and once it ran out, all life on the planet would die. Alalu saw this discovery as his opportunity to reclaim the throne. He would not only be the king again, but he would be the savior of all living things on Nibiru. Alalu ordered his grandson, Kumarbi, to travel back home and tell King Anu about the gold they had found. When Kumarbi arrived on Nibiru, he shared his message with King Anu, and King Anu appointed him as his royal cupbearer. This gesture was made as a symbol of reconciliation between the two kings. Anu decided to send his two sons, the half-brothers Enki and Enlil, on a mission to Earth. They were to confirm whether or not Alalu's claims were true, but they were, in secret, given another mission. King Anu told his sons when they arrived on Earth to separate.
I'm just going to say it. You can agree or disagree. I like these AI videos. I think they're fun. The ones that talk about real history, mythology, the ones that are made up stories, creepypasta, I like them all. I see people in the comments sometimes complaining about the AI videos and stuff, and I understand, I get it. But as somebody who has been doing this for a year and a half straight, just looking at clips, pulling up clips, looking for clips, watching them, reacting to them, if I didn't include AI clips of like stories and videos and stuff, there would just be videos of people looking into their cell phone camera, talking about like the same 6 things over and over and over again. In which case my response would be the same over and over and over again. Like there's only so many ways you can have people talk about a topic that has no new developments to it. So the AI videos make it fun for me. They give you more stuff to talk about, kind of breaks up the seriousness of everything, because some of them are obviously very fake and kind of stupid and silly, but it just keeps it fun, I think. So thank you to everyone for watching and participating. And no, the video's not over yet. Don't go anywhere. This isn't the outro. I'm saying thanks to everybody who watches, even if you don't like everything that we watch together. I appreciate you watching and hanging out to the extent that you do, and helping support me and the channel and this awesome lucid community. That being said, I ain't never gonna stop watching some AI stuff. Shout out William Montgomery.
Dad, what is that?
Oh, whoa, 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 whoa. What is that? It's like flying. No. Yes. That thing's.
That is not normal. Look at that, what it leaves.
Yeah,
Did
it
you
might
get
be. Might be a rocket. I mean,
Is there fog? There's a lot of fog or something. No, this is not, no.
Paranormal caught on camera. This one's you. Look at this.
I don't know how many of those are real, which real. That's what I'm saying. Even the ones that appear real could be fake. Who knows? That's what we're here watching. Some of those are wild though. If like some of those seem realer than other ones. Some like there was like one there that commentary seemed kind of fabricated. But then again, I don't know if people are like freaked out, like they don't speak normally. They don't, their inflections are different. Their timing in which they speak is different. So who knows? I don't know. I mean, not that I know how those people normally talk. It just seemed a little odd. Either way, those are crazy. And it obviously wouldn't surprise me at all if they were all real. And I'm very thankful that somebody caught it on video. That's all I'm saying.
Asmodeus was the first demon to tell King Solomon how they ruled earth. King Solomon, son of David, the king of Jerusalem, was given a magical ring by God with his sigil that he could command demons with. He was building the temple to worship God. Here was this demon Orneus that every night would come to this little kid, take half of his food, half of his money. He would suck his thumb during the nighttime. And by doing so, he was literally taking his life force. Long story short, Solomon gives his ring to the little boy. The little boy is told to, next time Orneus comes, throw the ring at his chest. This will bind him, and then you tell him to come here. That I, King Solomon, summon him. The little boy waits for Orneus to come that night. He throws the ring. Orneus is sealed, and the little boy goes running to King Solomon. King Solomon is in his throne when the little boy goes running and tells him, I got him. He's at the gate of the palace. The king gets up, runs to the gate of the palace, and here he was, this Orneus. Orneus is then sealed to collect all of these megalithic huge rocks to build this temple. In fact, the temple wasn't built by men, but it was built by the demons afterwards. All of these things that men couldn't do, the demons did. Orneus wants to get out of this deal and tries to trade with Solomon, and Solomon says that he wants the prince of demons. So Orneus says, I'll bring you Beelzebub, as long as you set me free. Solomon had no intention of setting him free, but he gives him this ring and he says, throw it at Beelzebub and you tell him that I'm summoning him. So next thing you know, Beelzebub is now at the palace. Now he is also sealed and under the dominion of King Solomon. Once Beelzebub is there, Solomon asks him if there are female demons, and this guy says, yes, there are. And Solomon says, I want one. Beelzebub, at this point, he starts his negotiation to be released. Now Beelzebub goes and gets this female demon that's called Anosculus. She was a very pretty female demon, light-skinned with light-hued hair. He seals her to always continuously morning, noon, and night to weave the hemp ropes, and those ropes were going to transport these huge stones. Solomon then said, I want another prince of darkness. And boom, Asmodeus appears. This is when he gets the news. First, that Solomon is not going to have dominion over the demons for long, that it's only a temporary thing. And short will be thy tyranny over us, and then we shall again have free range over mankind. So that as they shall revere us as if we were gods, not knowing, men, that they are the names of angels set over us. And then he goes on to explain how all of the gods of religions are demons. And all of the demons are the children of angels with mortal women. So right here we have a twist. Every religion has a different definition for what a demon is. I found this super interesting and very complete because he goes into detail about hundreds of demons, what their star is, who fathered them, what abilities they have, and what they do unto men. I'm going to find the most interesting stories and the most interesting demons and share them with you. Do you believe what Asmodeus said? That demons are the false god, children of angels with mortal women?
You know what, lady with the lisp? I honestly have no idea. That's a cool video, though. I was kind of confused, like, through the entire video, what the point was. I had no context until the end, when you basically said what the purpose of the video was, and that's actually pretty interesting. No, I had not considered that. Does that mean that all of these megalithic, megalithic, okay, I'm not going to delete this, I'm keeping this in. Does that mean that all the megalithic structures were created by demons? The Nephilim? Is the Nephilim a demon? That's the same thing, right? I don't know. You let me know. Let me know what you think. I'm not super big on all this stuff. It's cool to talk about, fun to learn about, cool to listen to, but I do not know. So if you know more about me, fill me in on some more information about this in the comments, and subscribe to the channel if you are not already. Comment below what you want to see in the next one, as well as any more information you have on any of the clips that were in this video, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.